Hi there, welcome She Days. Here, it's all about chatting like we're at home, cozy, with a cup of tea. I'm Days, and each time I bring in amazing guests from all over the world. Real, inspiring, and multilingual conversations are waiting for you. So grab a comfy spot and let's get started with a new episode. Hi everybody, welcome back to another episode of Shade Days. I'm really happy to be with you today. I am here today with my dear friend Anna.
Hi.
I'm really happy to have. You know that you're actually one of the first person I thought of while imagining this podcast.
I feel honored.
Yeah. You and our basic crew, you know, the crew that train, you guys were like the first. So this episode started really well because we just had a very nice French pastries before recording it.
Very good.
So, cause like today, when we're recording this episode, it's like what is called in English actually this day? Do you know?
I don't know. In Portuguese, I know that is the Dia de Reis.
Yeah, yeah, it's like that's the idea. I think like the day of the kings. No?
Yes,
that's like yeah, in French it's called Epiphanie. I don't know why, but yeah, I do know why, but it's different. In German it's also Dreikönig something. Yeah. Anyway. And in French we have this tradition to eat this very nice cake made of a lot of nice things, but sugar, blah, whatever. And so we just had this. So it was like, it's actually the real concept of the thing. We had like a nice beverage and then something to eat in the kitchen, and then we're just gonna start this conversation.
Yeah, it was a great way to bring in the mood.
Yeah. And yeah, which one did you prefer actually? There was one with like the classical with almond, and the other one with apple. Can you make a choice?
I think the apples gave a nice touch.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I
So
liked it.
it's not quite classical, but it's very appreciated. Great. So, my love, the reason why I really wanted to have you on this podcast is because of your journey and like this part of like the lifestyle I know from you. This like those last, let's say 10. I mean, we've been friends for almost 10 years.
Yes,
but I also know a little bit of your life a little bit before, and this I find it also very interesting.
Yeah, I didn't get a, let's say, a usual path.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't have a straight line to get where I am, that's for sure.
Yeah. But this is what makes it actually very interesting and very rich and beautiful, I think.
Yeah, I agree. I wouldn't change anything, honestly.
Aha.
I wouldn't change anything. Yes.
So we already have the conclusion. Thank you guys for listening.
Bye.
Good. All right. So, can you maybe tell us a little bit about, maybe briefly, your journey? So you're from Brazil?
From Brazil, yes. Tell what make me get out, or
yeah, maybe you can, if you think that some, because like you also had like interesting time also in Brazil. You were into sports and stuff. So what brought you to
so I think when I was in Brazil, the time that I spent in Brazil, that in a short time it's going to be less time in Brazil than I was out of Brazil.
Yeah.
But I would say that, well, life can get kind of hard in Brazil. You know, it's not, I think I wouldn't say that it's so easy, but there are things that are easier here in Europe overall, and especially in German, like studying. And I was always a good student. I liked to study, and I was doing a lot of sports. I really loved the time that I spent in school. I really thrived.
Okay.
You know? And so my family went through some difficulties financially, and when it was my time to get to university, they couldn't really afford.
Okay.
There are universities in Brazil that are free, but there were none in my city, and my parents didn't have the money to send me there to live in the city, and it's not possible in Brazil to study and work in a way that you can actually finance yourself. If it's just living situations, that's not really a possibility. So I think one of the main things that made me want to leave Brazil was that, you know,
Okay.
I had this experience, this possibility to get out, and I wanted to experience what it was to live outside of Brazil.
Okay.
And I was with a boyfriend at the time that became my fiancé and then husband. And we first thought of actually going to the Netherlands, going to Holland. And I actually learned a little bit of Holland Dutch for 1 year.
Oh, wow.
Yes.
Can you still remember some words?
Kind of. Like there were some songs that, you know, some things I still remember, yeah. But then what happened is that my ex, he got a job in a company that had some connection to Italy. So we changed the plans to go to Italy.
Okay.
And then instead of leaving the company, he stayed in the company and we went to Italy.
Okay.
When we got there, what I did in Brazil was I did just 1 semester of biology. It was something that I developed a passion, I think, with, like happens with a lot of people. I just had this unbelievable teacher of biology that made me she was very passionate, and it made me passionate about it. And it was my first choice. And I did 1 semester of biology there. And it was all that I could afford.
Okay.
Because, I had to pay this monthly fee that cost me every penny that I was making. I was working from 1 p.m. until 10 p.m. and going to the university in the mornings.
Okay.
Yeah, and it was exactly what I would get, was exactly what was costing the university. So I did just 1 semester and I stopped because, you know, I needed money to live as well. So it was not possible. So so I was quite happy to go to Italy, and after I studied Italian for 1 year more or less, then I wanted to go to the university. And when I went to check what I needed to actually start university, I needed to have at least 1 year of university back in Brazil, which I didn't have. I had 6 months, yes. So I couldn't start, which meant that I had to finish finish the high school, which was the liceo there.
Okay.
Yes, because it didn't count the time that I had in Brazil, because now we also have, I think, 11 years of primary education, but at the time was 10. So this 1 year was missing.
I see.
So I had to go do this 2 years of high school.
No way.
Yes. But at first I thought, oh my God, I have to do this seriously. But it was actually a great experience, because I chose something that I could do in the night. And I had older people also.
Okay.
I was actually one of the youngest. At the time I was 27, I think, when I started. And it was actually a great way to understand also the country itself, you know, because I think education is the base of everything. And once you understand a little bit how it works, the education of a country, you understand culture, you understand everything. So, and it was also very interesting because it was, they have also this, the high school have some, how do you say, it's addressed to something. In Brazil, you do a general one.
Okay.
But there you can choose if you want to go to a scientifical one or you want to do arts. And this one was more pedagogic stuff. So I actually learned things that I have never learned before about philosophy, about psychology, and sociology. And it was very interesting because this was things that we would just brush in Brazil, you know. For instance, in Brazil, for most people, Marx is just seen as a crazy communist guy. Yeah. And then you actually go to see his ideas and how it is with, wait a second, it's not like this. Yeah. So it was very interesting. It was actually very interesting. And I was able to finish. Then this high school did my this abitur that is called maturità.
So high school diploma, basically.
Yes. And then I could start college. I did a test to start studying pharmacy. And I passed for one, but I also was interested in biotechnology. So when I passed that as well, I ended up choosing biotechnology, which I did one semester there. It was kind of a shock to me, the how different it was, because in Brazil would have classes of, I don't know, was 40 people, 50 maybe. And then I arrived and it was this gigantic room with, I don't know, 200 people at least. Yeah. And it was quite different. And although Italian is not that different from Portuguese, the system was very, very different. And it took me a little bit of a time to get used to everything. But then, once I was starting to get used to everything, my, at the time, husband got a job here in Germany.
Oh, wow.
Yes. So there was this, I was doing biotechnology, and biotechnology is it's much more strong here in Germany. It's stronger here. And I thought it could be a good thing to come here. And we came here, and I can't say that I did a lot of research before coming. I started learning some German before and everything, and but I just thought, I'm sure I'll find something in English for me to do, because when I was researching in the Netherlands, I saw that I could do it in English, and I was sure that I could do it here as well. And then I found out that, you can't have the first basic education in college in English. You can do masters, but not the bachelor's. No? Yes, so I had to start learning German. But as every downside, there's a great side, and that's when I met you and everybody else when I first started German. And while I was studying German, the problems that have been already in my marriage before became more, let's say, accentuated. And I decided to separate. And that was, I think, one of the high points. I don't know, because everybody that I talk to see this as this brave thing that I did, because I came here with my husband, then we separated, and I decided to stay. I decided I was still only learning German. So I had to finish and then start college. But to me, it was never an option to come back to Brazil. When I told my mom what's going on, the first thing she said, "You're coming back, right?" And it was really absurd to me what she was saying. Like, no, why?
Yeah.
But the thing is, it's really about having nothing to lose.
Absolutely.
If I had something back in Brazil, if I had, I don't know, maybe a possibility to study there, maybe I would consider that, you know? But I was here seeing that working our mini job, I was able to, you know, living very strange. Of course, there's not much I could do because the money was really, you know, was counted for everything. But you can live and you can study.
Yeah.
And that was my main objective, you know, my main goal. Because I could, I didn't know at the time, again, when I started German, I was 32, I think. No, 31. I don't remember. Anyway, I was older when I started learning German. So I was just thinking that it was something that I always wanted to do, university, and I had the possibility and I was going to do it. If I was going to continue, I was working at the hotel at the time, right? To pay for the bills and mini job. If after I did the university, I was going to continue to work in the hotel, it could be.
Yeah.
And I didn't care. I just wanted to do that.
Okay. It never came up to your mind at this point to maybe go back to Italy, because like it was also like a system you kind of got used to. The language was also, you kind of mastered Italian by the time, because you stayed for 4 years.
5 years.
5 years in Italy. So it kind of got also easier. So it never came.
I never considered it.
You never considered.
And I think the main reason I was used to, I had made good friends here in German already by the time I got to get to know the system. And I felt like the university was more supportive of its students, of their students than it was in Italy.
Okay.
Although the language was hard, I felt like it was easier to get information.
Okay.
And also I think what made the biggest difference is that I was very, very dependent of my husband
in Italy.
Before in Italy, in every way, financial, emotional, psychological, which was a horrible thing to be, and I didn't really know the ways in Italy, you know.
Okay,
I always had someone solving the problems. The things that I did by myself was more related to studies, and because everything else I never really had to worry about it. Every time a real problem would come up, he would try, just come and solve everything, and So no, it never occurred to me to go back to Italy.
So being in Germany was for you like the phase, the time of like this new you, this independent, or
definitely,
yeah.
It was not only about being independent, it was about, I really didn't believe that I could do things on my own. I really didn't believe that. And it's something that I don't know if I would even put it that way at the time. It's just a feeling that you have inside of you that you don't really put it in words, but you just think you depend on someone.
I see.
I depended on my parents. I depended on my husband. My husband, I always had, someone really doing things for me, or, the important things. I didn't think that it was possible really to. Yeah, it's crazy, right? It's ridiculous.
No, it's not.
No, I mean, it's ridiculous in the sense it's something common. It's ridiculous that it's common.
Yeah.
That everybody feels this way.
Yeah.
That we make a small problem, we turn into a bigger one.
Yeah.
Or there is no problem, you're already making. Yeah. That's, I think, the most common
projection.
Yes, exactly.
The fear.
The
Makes
fear.
you
Exactly.
see things.
The fear. And I think that was the moment that I realized that, no, I can't do these things. And I always say that it was 5 years after I separated, I had lived more than the last 10, 15 years of my life.
Wow.
Seriously. I have grown and I have lived much more. Much more. Yeah, it was really transformation.
Yes, yeah. That decision. All right. So at this point, you learned German well enough to get into university.
Yes, we this is something that only people that study German and get the C1 certificate understand.
Yes.
There are some people that, yes, they really learn German and yes, they get very fluent and they get the C1 certificate, good for them. But this is a very small percentage of the students that we somehow manage to be proficient to get the C1s, but it doesn't really work when you translate in the in
real life.
In the real life, exactly.
Absolutely.
Because so what happened was I had this, I could go to the university and I went. And I went with our very good friend Hussein. He was there in biology with me. And I remember being in this class that it was physics.
Yeah.
This huge auditorium with, 200, 300 students and it was physics. It was cinematic. And I couldn't understand anything what's going on. And then the professor is talking, Geschwindigkeit, Geschwindigkeit, Geschwindigkeit. And I'm like, what is Geschwindigkeit? And then I go translate, Google Translator, what is Geschwindigkeit? Is velocity. And that's when it hit me. Like, I'm in a physics class, cinematic, and I don't know how to say velocity in German. This was the moment for me that I said to myself, I'm not coming back here. That's it. I can't do this.
Okay.
And then I had Hussein there with me saying, come on, we can make this. No, come on, let's go. And yeah, I always got by with a little help from my friends, that's for sure.
That's nice. So for the one who don't really understand and know the German system, for foreigners, if you want to study in a German university, you have to pass this language test, really like designed for it. And the C1 is like C1 level, so it's like one of the highest level that you can have in a language, and it makes you fluent. It's like fluent level, and then you should be fluent enough to be able to study at university.
But here, reality comes with the glove in your face.
Just slaps you. But yeah, exactly. So because like what we learned, because you have like those preparation classes.
Yeah.
And what you learned is basically like, I don't know, a little bit of literature.
Yeah.
Theory comprehension, listening comprehension, grammar, sorry.
Yeah.
And that's it. But like if you want to dive really into a subject, a topic, just like Anna did, it will take you another...
Yeah.
It will be another challenge.
Yeah. Yeah. So this was the first time I thought of giving up. Was that moment.
Okay.
Physics 101 cinematic. That was the first moment that I said, I can't. It's not possible to do this. It's not possible to do this. This was the first moment. Yeah.
All right. So it kind of also, it set up all the dynamic about or concerning what will your life as a student will be, like learning, dealing with the language and everything, but also because you said Hussein like was the one that like kept you somehow. Also this how can I say the importance of you being surrounded by people.
Support system.
Exactly.
Support system. Because as we all know, misery loves company. So I think because you think, no, it's not possible, I can't do this, and then you realize that, okay, maybe people are not having such a hard time as I am, but they are also having a hard time.
Yeah.
And that gives you, strength to go on. For me, it was particularly hard because these were things that I had studied before, but it had been quite a while because it was things that I have seen in high school, but my high school was more than 10 years behind me. So this was the hard part. Yeah. So what happened in the basic part of chemistry, physics, and even the basic part of biology, I had 2 extra steps than most people had. That was German, and I had to translate into English so I was able to understand. And then I had to remember the basic things, that is still fresh from my friends because I'm at least 10 years older than them, 15, some of them.
Yeah.
So that makes the extra step that I had, extra difficulty was, jiggling my memory a bit about these things. Yeah.
So how was it for you to actually study with people that were 10 to 15 years younger than you? Like, did you feel like anytime like an outsider, or like did you feel it was difficult to integrate, or was it like easy? Like, how did you feel about that?
At first, yes, when I was still studying language, actually, because my life was so different. I was married with 2 dogs in a small city outside Würzburg. I felt very, very different from everybody else. But I realized that, well, that is actually the life that I want to be living, not the one that I have, but the one that these youngsters have. And I realized, made friends so easily, so fast, people were all so nice, and I felt welcomed. And once that happened, then I didn't feel anymore because it didn't matter my age. We were all going through the same things.
Yeah.
Right? And I always say I lived my 30s and my 20s and my 20s and my 30s. That's what I did.
Yeah.
And yeah, I think that's what was the main difference. Then I think it was one of the first moments that I realized, yes, age is just a number.
A number.
It's just a number.
All right.
Yeah.
Good. So at this point, so when you start studying, you started with chemistry, right?
Chemistry.
Your first semester was chemistry.
Oh my God, I even forgot that. Yes.
I do remember.
Because I passed the exam, the language exam. It was summertime. And biology starts only on winter time.
Okay.
So I did one but actually I was just enrolled as a student.
Okay.
I didn't attend any classes.
Okay.
Yes. Okay. And then I decided to change to biology. And then I also convinced Hussein, because he was doing chemistry really, and he was not happy with it. So yeah, we started biology together. Yes.
All right. Good. So you start biology, and so we got that like the language was a challenge.
Yes.
The topic itself also, because like, let's be honest, even in your own language, it is a challenge.
Yes.
Were there moments where you felt another moment like the first one you just talked about, where you felt like
I won't make it, or I feel like giving up. But there were some challenges, of course, like some difficulties, but like really like strong,
so many. So many. But I think I remember very, very, very well 2 of them.
Mm-hmm.
And so when we first started doing the practical courses, to me, this was the hardest part.
Okay.
Because when I was going to classes, at some point, I even just stopped going to classes. I would just stay home and get the lessons online and then translate and then go to Khan Academy, which is, I really need to thank them for my degree. And so when you have the practical courses, you don't have these options. You are there, you have to understand what they're saying. When they ask you something, you have to answer. And well, one thing that I do need to say is that most people that I came across, but really 95% of the people I came across, professors or the students helping, what was the Hivis? I forgot. Hivis! Most of them
They're like
were
the student assistants.
Yeah, the student assistants for the courses and everything. Mainly they were very nice and very understanding. And one professor even told me, because I was writing this exam and I couldn't anymore. I was stressed. Time was about to run out. And I just started writing in English, because that's what I had studied as well in English. So I told him, and he said, don't worry, as long as I understand. Unfortunately, I don't understand Portuguese, but English is, yes, if I understand, you get your points. So people were nice.
Okay.
Were nice. That helped as well. But it was the big moment, that when I had to study for an exam and you have like this time left, like 1 week, and you know that you have so much to study, so much to learn in this time. I remember that sometimes I would just get in this dark mood, kind of, I would say a little, I wouldn't say I had depression, but I was going through a depressive time. And it would be this 1 week that instead of studying, I would just be binge watching Netflix, and not studying at all, because you're just like, what's the point? I'm not going to make it anyway. And I remember doing this with one exam, just watching stuff and not doing anything. And the second biggest moment that it was that I wanted to give up was the chemistry exam. Yes, it was the chemistry exam, and it was, I think it was the first, it was organic chemistry. And I was studying and I couldn't wrap my head around it, and it was so hard. And I remember really, it was the first time that I really broke down, crying while I was studying and telling myself, what am I doing? And I started just looking for universities in Portugal. And I was in the university in those rooms that we can rent, for the day. I was there and I was just like, start crying and then looking for, I'm not staying here anymore. I'm going to go away. But it was the funniest moment, because when I told my mom about it, I told her afterwards, I said, hey, I'm studying, but I can't. I want to go to Portugal. And she just said, oh, well, why don't you? And I stopped and I said, Mom, I need to do like 2 exams to finish this. Why are you telling me? Well, if you're unhappy, why don't you? And it was so funny, because instead of just stopping thinking, yeah, why don't you? I got mad at her, like, no, you don't say that. Why don't you? I have to do this. It's just, And it was funny because that's what happens. Like, no, I have to do this. Are you kidding me? I'm not giving up. And and it was so funny because my mom was like this all the time. Like when she always worried that I was happy and well, when I got separated from my husband, and when I told her that I was not going back, she got very worried. And then I remember some months, I think I think 2 months after I separated, it was my birthday.
Mm-hmm.
And you guys made a surprise birthday to me.
Mm-hmm.
And I told my mom about it, and she just like, she got like, very light, and she just said,
relieved.
Relieved. And she's like, you're happy, right? And I said, yeah, Mom, I'm happy, So this was her only worry. So when I told her that of the hard time that I was going through, she's just like, "Don't give up, No, you have to be happy. You have to be okay." So it was so funny. This moment for me was actually, no, I have to do this. I can do this. I just need, what time to have my little breakdown.
Yeah.
Then I just, gather myself and I finished the exams But the thing is, I think the moment that I realized, okay, I can really do this, and the worst time is behind me, was when we got to the 5th semester, because then I started to be able to do things in English. And that's when things got much lighter.
Yeah.
And I also realized that, wait, I actually am good at this. I understand this. If you talk to me, you talk to me in a language that makes sense, I can do this shit. Yeah.
All right. So this moment that you had with your mom, this conversation where you realized, I have to do it. Was it also one of the moments where you realized, I made the right choice? Like this choice of field, this choice of like staying in Germany, because if you went back to school after 30 years old. So, was it this moment, or like were there like different moment where you felt like, I did the right choice, or were there like one kind of epiphany where you're like,
No, I don't think that was a moment I did the right choice, but I think it was I did a good choice.
Okay.
Yeah, I think the feeling of I did the right choice came later.
Okay.
Yeah, but at that point was just that's a good choice. That's a good thing that I did with my life so far, and I was really happy with it. Yes.
So, despite of the problems or the challenges you had with the language and with the topic themselves, what did it cost you actually to study and to this part of your life? Actually, like it did cost you something?
Yeah, I think when I think about cost, I always think about my family back in Brazil.
Okay.
It cost me time with them. It cost me live with them, make memories, it cost me that. But I actually remember this movie that I watched that is from a book, Persepolis.
Yes.
Yeah, in French. La liberté a toujours un prix.
Oui.
Yes, they say at the very end, the freedom always has a price, and that's the price I paid for my freedom, for my choice. That it was, but that the thing is, at the same time that I sacrificed that, I also remember when I was there that I was not very happy.
Yeah,
I was not enjoying myself with my family. No, because now I'm a different person. The person that I am with then is not the same that I was there at 20.
Yeah.
Not only because of my age, but because I was very lost there. Because really I was always someone that really liked to study, first of the class, this type of, like this. So if I can't do that, what am I going to do?
Yeah.
So that is definitely the highest price that I had to pay, but I think it was a high price, but it was a fair price, let's say, at the same time, because it made me definitely appreciate them more, because I don't have much time with them anymore. I normally go for Christmas, but actually the first time I went back to Brazil, I was already almost 6 years away.
Yeah.
So for 6 years, I didn't see my dad. My mom came once with my brother, but my dad, I didn't see him, you know.
6 years, a long
6
time.
years, yes.
A long time.
A very long time. And I missed my grandma died, and I missed that, you know. I missed spending time with her as well. So all these things you missed. But again, it's choices that you make well, you lose time with your family, with your blood family, but you also gain some memories and experience with your chosen family. That is also, I mean, I wouldn't change that.
Yeah.
I can't just, I mean, imagine my life not knowing you, not knowing Isabel, not knowing Hussein, not knowing all these people that I know now, you know, Valeria, Andrea, you know, all these people. It's how? No, you know, just like I hear from them, you know, you had an impact in my life, they had in mine, you know, and I wouldn't change that for anything.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. I know. Good. The one of the word I would use as your friend to describe you, I have like a couple with mine, but one of the one I would always use, and to be honest, even before you got separated, it was already like very present for me. That's the reason why for me it's very interesting that you tell me that the person you became after your separation from your ex-husband, I kind of saw it already, to be honest. So I think it was already in you, but maybe it didn't really flourish, or it wasn't out the way you needed, or because this is getting very personal, intimate, but I've never felt that you were like this dependent person before that. So
that's the thing. Like, I was in this situation, but I wasn't that person. That's why I was so unhappy. And I think that was probably what you saw was something that it was dying to get out of me, you know?
Yeah.
Because, I always been seen as a strong person, even when I felt like I was so dependent on someone.
Yeah.
But, it was the situation I was in, but it was not the person that I was, you know?
Yeah. Did you know that back then already, or did you realize that?
No, absolutely not. I didn't know. I didn't know. I thought, like I said, that I never put into words, but the feeling, describing now what I was feeling at the time is, I can't do this by myself. I can't do this without a support of someone, you know? Yeah. And I never realized before that the support doesn't mean exactly financial. It's just you need people that you can count on. Yeah. You know, that's what you need. Yeah. That's all.
Yeah. So as I was saying, this the one of the word I would use to describe you is resilience. I could even tattoo it on your forehead for people to know it. Do you see it as well, like for yourself? I see you as like really, like, I'm very blessed to have like a very, very nice village all around me. So I have a lot, but like I think you're really one of the most resilient person I know.
I think it's so funny because you tell me I'm resilient and I don't really feel it. Which again, I think is one of those things of, I could maybe have just gave up when I, you know, it is actually an option, but it was never really an option. You know what I mean? It's like, if I'm gonna fail this, I'm really gonna fail this. I'm not just gonna give up because I had done so much.
I see.
And I realized that, you know, this is the main problem that people have. They just, I don't know if it's afraid to fail. I don't think it's, I don't know. It could
be. A lot of people are actually afraid of failure.
I don't know that is afraid of the failure, or just you are so sure you are gonna fail that you don't even let yourself fail. You know what I mean?
I see. Yeah.
It's like, I can't do this, so I'm just gonna stop because I know that I won't be able to pull this off. And then it happened with me so many times, and then there I was getting a 4 in passing, but you know, whatever, I passed.
Yeah.
I passed this test. And I think that's what stopped us, because and you actually just have to let things happen. So it's funny, you tell me I'm resilient, I don't really see, and my mom tells me that I'm so courageous, and she really sees and she thinks that she said once to me, I wish I was courageous as you are. And I just stopped, like, I am courageous? Like, I never thought myself, never saw myself in this way. But okay, maybe if you think in one way or another, but again, I think it comes back to the, what do I have to lose?
Yes. Yeah.
What do I have to lose? So I always think, if I had things to lose and this is what I chosen, okay, you can call me courageous, you can call me resilient or whatever, but it's like, no, I had nothing to lose, And yeah, I know also people in my situation, also with nothing to lose, they gave up. But I don't know. It was something just, you're gonna do this. You're gonna go through this. You're gonna let it play as it should and see what happens.
Yeah. But I think it's quite courageous to let this thing come in. You don't know what's gonna come, but you're just going to let it come and see. So probably,
yeah, it's true, because you could be just walking into a big disappointment. That is true. And you just keep going.
Yeah. Did you, with time, like, develop some kind of strategies to overcome difficult times? We already mentioned, like, your entourage was very important, but did you have, like, very concrete strategies, sometimes, like,
No, I can't say. I think what helps is to talk.
Okay.
I first talk a lot with myself. Really a crazy person by myself talking. Yeah, if you pass by my door, a lot of times you think I'm with someone in there, because no, it's just me talking to myself, since I haven't started therapy yet, it's just me talking to myself. And yeah, sometimes actually I have this moments of epiphany, if you're talking to yourself or just even pretending to talk with someone. I'm gonna meet my friend. What do I want to tell her? And just blah, 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 blah. And then it's like, oh, wait a second. I have this moment.
Yeah.
So I think that's how you really process things, talking, even if it's with yourself, but then talking with people, of course. And I would do that, talk, say everything to you, and I will go to another friend and say everything again. And then I'll wait a second, that's something here that I didn't see. And I think that helps for all situations, and also for, I think, in difficult moments, but also, I don't know, dealing with little things, dealing with big things, it helps. Just talk to the walls, to yourself, to someone, but talk. Yes. I think this is the only thing. I don't know if I had anything else that I actually used to cope with difficult times. But yeah, I think it's really talk, and I don't know, I'm not the kind of person who can actually, like, okay, let's face this and just see it in a clear way, like putting things in a way and do some skiing that not, for me, everything is foggy.
Yeah.
So it's really when you start talking that I can, okay, maybe this, maybe that, and then maybe start thinking of how should I tackle this.
So how do you feel now about this decision? like now we're like, for how long have you been? 10 years almost, right? In Germany.
10 years in Germany, almost 11.
Yeah.
Yeah, almost 16 out of Brazil. No, already 16, I think, out of Brazil. Yes.
So how do you feel about this this period of your life? Which, if you had to choose 3 words to describe your life out of Brazil?
Ooh, 3 words. Let me think that one. Enriched. Fulfilling.
Okay.
And the last one is better. Yeah, and it's because I think if you take my path and you look at it, and if you take the most important things in the sense of, I don't know, and the most traditional way, okay, you study, you did your bachelor's, you did a master's, and now you're working. So people normally do that at their, let's say, at the 25, they are ready at this stage. I started at 39, you know, that's when I actually start working. People start 25, I start at 39. So the thing is, this is what I needed to go through to realize that this is what I want. This is what is fulfilling. Because I think if I had done that by 25, I would be just a very miserable person. Because I am a person who really asks constantly, what if? You know?
Okay.
And I think with all these paths, weird paths that I took, there's a lot of what ifs that are answered, you know? And yeah, I think this is the main thing. Like, it took me a longer time. I took a longer path to get here, but then you are sure, you know?
Yeah. That's an important lesson, I think. Sometimes we just get overwhelmed because we don't manage to follow the path that is taught by, I don't know, either society or either like our family or, you know, whatever. And to realize it's the kind of like sentence that you have, I don't know, on fortune cookies or like that the path is actually even probably more important than the actual goal or the results, or it's actually what you're saying, right?
Yes, but it's, yeah, you are right. It sounds like a cheap Chinese fortune cookie. But is the truth? The truth? It's like this because, I mean, so many things happens in between. I'm talking just about, you know, studying, but there are relationships, there are, you know, romantic and friendships, everything that, you know, brings you where you are. And arriving to the point that, you know, exactly, society says that it's the one that you have to, and that is also a difference. Like, if at any given point I feel like, you know what, that's not it. That's not what I want to do. That's not the country I want to stay. I will just get up and do something, you know, because I think if you achieve these things so early, you actually think that that's where I did and I can't change anymore. I have to stay here because that's the path that I've always been. And it's not like this at all, you know? So I think one of the, maybe a fourth word that I would put there is flexibility. You really learn how to be flexible.
Adapt to what life gives you.
Yes, adaptation and yes.
All right. So, what would be your advice, or what would you tell someone? I would tend to say like a woman, because from my like small experience, I have the feeling we tend to doubt more when it comes to those kind of things, changing career after 30, doing something new, starting a new path and stuff. Like, what would you say someone that is in your situation, I don't know, 32, 33 and wants to start maybe from zero something, and that is like maybe a bit scared or concerned? What would be your...
Do it. that would be my advice. I think the most important thing is for you to realize why you want to do this.
Yeah.
And as long as the answer is because I want, just do it. If the answer is because my mom thinks is the best, because my dad thinks the best, because my boyfriend said, then no. But if it's because you want, you can do it.
Yeah.
Really, you can do it. And again, you have nothing to lose. And I think, I don't know how many good things I got out of my marriage, but one thing that my ex used to say that really stuck with me, two things. First of all, you can lose everything you have in your life, money, your car, your house, everything you can lose. But what you learn, you can't. Okay? Whatever you learn, nobody can take away from you.
Yeah.
Maybe if you get Alzheimer's, but yeah, that's another point. The second thing is, I remember saying, oh my God, I'm going to be 35 when I graduate. And he told me, well, you can be 35 and have a degree, or 35 and don't have a degree. You're going to be 35 either way.
That is so
Right?
wise. That
Right?
is so wise.
He had his moments. Yes. So think about that. Time is passing. Age is coming. What you're going to do with it,
Yeah.
that's up to you.
Yeah. Nice.
Wow, it sounds so wise.
That is so nice. Would you say then that the time in Germany was like your favorite phase in your life?
Oh, that is a hard one to admit because Germany can be really tough,
Yeah.
On you. But yes, it's been my favorite time. It's the time where I discovered myself, where I became myself, and it's still doing it. Actually, it's definitely not an unfinished process, not at all. But I became much more sure of myself.
Yeah,
for sure.
Yeah, nice. I also have the feeling. I did say it in a previous episode that like coming to Germany was also the right and the best choice that I made, because Germany allows you to experience. When we came, we were like, I'm a little bit younger than you, but still like older than like the usual student, and I still think like, when you're in like your 20s and you want to experience like, I don't know what, like maybe not like to the point that you put yourself 100% in danger, but still like experience stuff. I have the feeling Germany is the right place for it because it's so safe. So organized, so structured. So you can kind of experience things in this, in this range. I think it's amazing. Really, I really think it's really, really nice.
Yeah, I think you're right. Although I didn't really choose.
Yeah.
It was kind of an accident. I think it was a very happy accident.
Yeah.
We all know sometimes the culture can be quite hard, and I don't know if this is my forever place. I don't think so. But I'll ever be very grateful that I ended up here.
Yeah.
And for the time that I am here and that will be here, it's definitely something that I'm very thankful for. Yes.
Yeah. Do you have something that you would like to say to conclude maybe this episode?
Let me think about it. I was just actually wondering. I was thinking before that I took this very path not straightforward to get here, but some people do. Some people actually somehow they really know what they want, or they just as life comes, they take it as it is, and they are happy and fulfilled as well.
Yeah.
And there's nothing wrong with that as well. I just think that it's important for you to always question that.
Yes, I agree.
Because I think, when I think about my closest friends also back in Brazil, I have one friend that took me. She couldn't, if I tell you her story, she sounds like the most boring person. Met her husband when she was 15, then went to college, became an engineer, worked, now has her company, 2 kids, and you just sound like, well, that's just one more person of these billions. And she's the most interesting person that I ever know. And she's the person that I always say that I want to be when I grow up, because of how she took her life, how she takes her life, and how that's what she wants, that's what she loves.
Yeah.
So even if you want what you love, if it's the common thing, there's nothing wrong with that. Just, be sure that that's what you want.
Perfect. I wouldn't think of like a better way to finish this episode, to be honest.
Oh my God, I feel so wise. By the way, you didn't tell how old I am.
I did not. That is true.
Yes, and I am gonna be in 3 weeks.
Yeah,
I'm gonna turn 41. But the important thing that I still look like I'm 30.
Absolutely. Even less on when you have enough sleep. Even less.
Sure.
Nice. Anna, thank you so much for doing this.
Thank you, Wendy. It was a real pleasure.
I hope you guys enjoyed as much as we did.
Yes.
Please let us know in the comments or wherever, like, what you think of Anna's experience. If you have something similar, or even if maybe you have questions,
sure.
for Anna, we could definitely find a way to answer to you. I think this is it for this episode of She Days. Thank you guys, and see you soon.
Bye.
Bye.